Thanks again, Chairman. Two things. One, there are multiple levels of security clearances, and they're issued by different agencies, correct? So having one from DOD doesn't necessarily make you good for all positions in all places.
It does not.
And indeed, DOD operates clearances at multiple levels, correct?
Right, but I think the key point here is that, as I indicated earlier, the requirements for a TSSCI versus the requirements for occupying a sensitive position in the White House as a part of the National Security Council or as
way higher than for a retired
exactly, and
general.
And as I can attest, much more invasive
Yep.
and aggressive than a standard TSSCI.
Now, in terms of compromised tradecraft, if you have somebody and you have them compromised, it's pretty standard compromised tradecraft to ask them to do some little thing for you under the threat of having the compromising information disclosed. And if you succeed, you now have two things on them. And you work it that way to get somebody more and more enmeshed in compromise until they're more or less owned by the intelligence agency. Is that a fair description of how you can develop compromise through regular tradecraft?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make that sure because we're talking a lot about it here. Last thing, my list. So I went through the list, looked at like propaganda, fake news, trolls, and bots. We can all agree from the IC report that those were in fact used in the 2016 election. Hacking and theft of political information, the hack into the DNC and into the Podesta emails, I think we can all agree that that's a yes. Timed leaks of damaging material, that appears very strongly to be a yes because of the timing of the release smack after the Access Hollywood release. I believe that the answers were correct no as to in-country assassination and political violence by the Russians here in the United States. Would you both agree with that?
I don't think we turned up any evidence of that.
Okay. And controlling investment in key economic sectors for leverage. It seems that our economy is probably a little too big for that, and there was no evidence of that in the IC report either, correct?
That's correct.
So the question of shady business and financial ties that not only start out as bribery, perhaps, or as highly favorable deals, secret deals with Russians, but that in turn can then turn into compromise.
It could.
It's not just the carrot of I'm continuing to bribe you. At some point, you have a stick over the individual of I'm going to out the deal that we have unless you do this, correct?
That's classic compromise.
And we do not yet know the extent to which that has played a role in the 2016 Russian election hack, correct?
I don't.
And in terms of corrupting and compromising politicians, same. We don't know the full extent of whether or not politicians have been corrupted or
I certainly don't. I did not and don't.
So if we were to go down this, yes, 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 no, no, question mark would be our tally at the end. Are we agreed on that?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. Yates?
Not for me, sir.
Terrific. Thank you. Yield back my 9 seconds.